This Prismatic Warlock build is all about keeping you alive, especially in that harder endgame content. Even in this background gameplay, where I'm 30 light levels under the recommended power cap, I am able to stay alive and even help keep my teammates alive. And the main power behind this Warlock build is the new exotic helmet that came with the final shape, the Speaker's Sight. In this video, we're going to break it all down, go over a bunch of mods, aspects, and fragments that you guys can use to make this Speaker's Sight exotic helmet even stronger. So Guardians, let's get into it.
Yo, it's time to subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. What are you doing?
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous.
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. Like the video, come on.
Hell
you know
yeah.
the drill.
Button.
And slap that like button.
Now for this build, we're going to be on the Prismatic Warlock, using the new Song of Flame. And our super is going to grant us a supercharged melee attack. We'll be able to create a sentient flame wisp that seeks out targets and detonates in a scorching explosion. And while the Song of Flame is active, your nearby allies regenerate abilities more quickly, are more resistant to incoming damage, and your solar and kinetic weapons scorch targets. Since we're on Prismatic, we will also be able to transcend, and we can get that freezing singularity grenade, where we throw a mass of void energy and stasis matter on impact deploys a miniature black hole orbited by a slowing field. After a short duration, the black hole implodes, suppressing and dealing heavy damage to all nearby targets. Now getting into our abilities, first up, we're going to be taking the Phoenix Dive. Since this build is all about healing, the Phoenix Dive states that dive to the ground and create a short burst of solar light that cures nearby allies. Here states that you are healed in a burst of mending solar light. So not only will you be able to cure your allies, but you can also heal yourself. As you can see right here, take some damage, gonna dive up, go down, and we are completely healed. Next up for our abilities, we're taking the Arcane Needle. Sling a woven needle that will embed your target, unraveling them. Activate your melee ability again to chain up to 2 additional attacks. I really like this melee because, as you can see, you can get 3 charges, and because it unravels the enemies, and once they're unraveled, they will unwind into a tangle. In case you guys weren't aware, tangles are very, very strong this season, and that is mainly due to the fact that we have this artifact perk right here, Threaded Blast. Destroying a tangle with a strand weapon creates a larger and more damaging explosion. So if we create one right here, we get a tangle, and if we just explode this with a solar weapon, you get a decent amount of AoE. But if we create another tangle right here and kill it with a strand weapon, the AoE is much, much larger. So if you guys are creating a lot of tangles, this artifact perk right here is a must-have. Then for our grenade, of course, we're taking the Healing Grenade, a grenade that cures allies on impact and creates an orb of benevolent solar light, granting restoration to allies when picked up. Restoration states that you regenerate health and shields over time, cannot be interrupted by taking damage, and Cure states that you are healed in a burst of mending solar light. And Cure stacks 2 times, and each stack gives you 30 HP, so if you get Cure times 2, that's an instant 60 HP. And when we pair the Healing Grenade with the new Speaker's Sight exotic helmet for the Warlock, it gets even better. The exotic perk on this is the Lost Voice. Healing Grenades spawn a restorative turret. Healing allies occasionally spawns an orb of power. So the normal Healing Grenade, your allies and yourself are going to have to run through it. But with this new exotic helmet, it's going to spawn a little seeker, and it's actually going to track to whatever guardian is closest to it. And it's able to spawn about 4 or 5 little seekers before it disappears. And on top of that, your Healing Grenade now spawns orbs of power. Now during my testing, it will only spawn an orb of power if it actually heals the guardian. If the guardian is already full health and the seeker hits them, nothing will happen. But as soon as they take a little bit of damage and that seeker is actually able to boost their health up, there is a chance that it will spawn an orb, just like you can see here in this footage. Then getting into our aspects, the first one up, we're taking the Weaver's Call. Activate your class ability to weave 3 threadlings and deploy any threadlings you have perched. Targets defeated by strand damage have a chance to generate a perched threadling. Now the great thing about the Weaver's Call aspect is that it actually synergizes with the Phoenix Dive. Now as you can see, we can just take some damage right here, jump up in the air, hop down, we heal, and it spawns the threadlings. So this is a great way to do damage and heal yourself at the same time. Next up for our second aspect, we have Feed the Void. Defeat a target with an ability to activate Devour. Your Devour effects are improved, restoring additional health and grenade energy. So now when we get a kill with our melee or our Phoenix Dive that spawns the threadlings, we can get Devour to activate. And every kill after that is going to give us grenade energy. So if you check this out, we'll throw our Healing Grenade down, get an ability kill. Now we got Devour going. Get a kill on that guy. 2, 3, and now our grenade is back. And we can throw a second healing grenade. Continue to get kills. And now we got another grenade back. So as long as the ads keep coming and you keep getting kills, you can have healing turrets all over the battlefield. Now for our fragments, we're taking Facet of Protection. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. While Transcendent, the effect is increased. If you're within 15 meters of 3 enemies, you get a 15% damage resist. Then next up, we have Facet of Purpose. Picking up an Orb of Power grants either Amplified Restoration Frost Armor, Woven Mail, or Overshield based on the damage type of your equipped super. And since we are on the Solar, we're going to get Restoration. Once again, adding even more healing we get from this build. Next up, we have Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. This is a 60% increase to our class ability, so we'll be able to Phoenix Dive more and spawn more Threadlings. Then next up, we have Facet of Blessing. Melee Final Blows start health regeneration, while Transcendent melee Final Blows start health regeneration for you and nearby allies. This synergizes really well with our Arcane Needle, so we get 3 melees and more health regeneration, once again adding to even more health that we can get from this build. Then last but not least, we have Facet of Balance. Rapidly defeating targets with light damage grants melee energy. Rapidly defeating targets with darkness damage grants grenade energy. Moving on from there, we're going to talk about the Red Death Reformed. This is the exotic weapon that we're going to be using. Exotic perk Redemption. Final blows with this weapon cure you and increase reload speed. Reloading after final blows cures nearby allies. Once again, even more healing. And the exotic trait perk states that when you deal damage to this weapon, it gains increased handling, takes reduced flinch, and movement speed is increased for a short time. When you're at reduced health, this weapon deals additional damage. So not only are we getting health from our aspects and our fragments, our abilities, but we also get health from our exotic weapon. And the Red Death Reformed is not even in its final form. There is a catalyst coming with it. The catalyst states that final blows charge this weapon. When the weapon is charged, the next final blow creates a healing burst at your location and leaves a remnant behind that provides restoration to allies. So you're going to be able to have a little tiny healing remnant, and when you throw your healing grenade while wearing the exotic helmet, you'll have a healing turret. Now getting into the mods that I'm using, on the helmet I got Dynamo, reduces super cooldown when using your class ability near targets, so every time we Phoenix Dive, we'll get more super energy. I'm using my Red Death a lot, so I'm taking a Solar Siphon mod to create orbs, and since I have 3 Arcane Needles at my disposal, I've got Hands On, gain bonus super energy on melee kills. Then on the gloves, I got a Solar Loader. Then I'm taking Focusing Strike, grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a powered melee attack, and we got Impact Induction, causing damage with a powered melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. So we're getting more class ability and more grenade with those 3 melee charges that we have. Then on the chest, I got Solar Reserves and whatever damage resist mods that you need. Moving on to the leg armor, I've got Absolution, reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an Orb of Power. Insulation reduces class ability cooldown each time you pick up an Orb of Power. And then Recuperation replenishes health each time you pick up an Orb of Power for yet again more healing for this build. And on the class item, I've got Reaper. After using my Phoenix Dive ability, the next weapon final blow spawns an Orb of Power. And I've got 2 Outreach mods to reduce the melee cooldown when using my class ability. And Guardians, that is going to do it for the build setup. This is a really fun build to use. Multiple ways to keep you alive, multiple ways to keep your allies alive. And like I said in the beginning, I was using this in a Nightfall where I was almost 30 light levels underneath the recommended power cap. If you guys are new here, need more Destiny 2 in your life, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Leave a like if you enjoyed the build. There will be a dim link in the pinned comment down below if you guys want to slap this on. And if you guys have any suggestions for this build, anything that I missed, something that might synergize better, let me know about that too down in the comments. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.